hello, Pete. Hello, James from Until the Room Breaks. How are you guys right now?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Where are you? You're on your way to Boston, I'm assuming, for your show tomorrow?
No. We're actually we have another show tonight. We're playing in a place called Hanover today, at a college called Dartmouth.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it once or twice. So you're in New Hampshire.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice here.
Nice.
It's
So
cold, but not as cold as we have been.
yeah, well, yeah, it's a pretty nice day out there today. Are you just hanging out before your show tonight? I assume that there's a lot of downtime over the course of this tour. Well, what kind of stuff do you guys do with this time?
It's kind of a time that we kind of like. Today we have a bit of time in the town, so we've explored it a little bit for practice. But otherwise, we try to be productive on the bus because the bus is quite good for doing work and stuff. So we do lots of production and remixes. So we kind of make it a productive time also.
Do you think, to be out on the road doing this kind of stuff, or to be at home working in the studio every day more consistently?
Yeah, I think the thing with being on the road is we make it work for us in terms of the work, and we make sure that. It can be tricky with Wi-Fi reception and stuff on the bus if we're in the middle of nowhere. But we kind of try and keep things going and do lots of different things. But I guess the main thing is after 4 weeks of this, it can we're literally at the point now where the sound of the idea of a proper bed is quite attractive.
Yeah, I can imagine. While you're out touring and doing this kind of thing, talk about your live show a little bit, because your music it has a very strong visual element, and how do you go about translating that to a live show, or kind of bringing that element in when you're performing live on these tours?
It's quite a long process in terms of actually working out how we were going to do it live. We made the record. Sorry. We made the record a few years ago now. So the process of essentially reconstructing the record for a live environment was quite an in-depth one. It required a lot of thinking. It required a lot and a little bit of guesswork as well in terms of how that was going to work in terms of the performance and having the right pieces of equipment to plug together to make that work, etc.
Yeah. So if I'm coming to one of your shows, what should I be expecting? What's the sort of feel that you bring to your shows?
Well, basically we add I guess on the record there's a lot of programmed sounds and beats and stuff, and we try to present those with more of a human feel. So for example, Elliot is a drummer in the band, and he plays a lot of the samples on a live drum kit using a few kind of cool bits of tech that we have. And also the visuals element as well is something that we kind of try to maintain, and we have a projector that we kind of show films basically for each track as we go through the set.
Yeah, that's nice. So you are able to bring in that visual element as well. So wait a second. I'm a little bit confused. Can talk about the format of your band for a little bit, because I was a good little boy and I went and I read all of my press materials and I prepared, and all of your press materials talk about Pete. So talk about kind of who else is there and the way that it's formatted.
Yeah, absolutely. So Pete is he's kind of on the bus with me as well, and he's kind of the, what would you say, Pete? You're kind of the artistic nucleus of the project, and he kind of started it off on his own a couple of years ago. I then got introduced to Pete in the production sense of actually making the album, and both myself and Pete and a production partner of mine called Andy, who's back in the UK, we all helped to produce the record. And then there's this interesting gentleman called Elliot, who's been a long-time friend of Pete's and has drummed for Pete on previous projects also. So he's kind of the third member of the band, and the three of us, we are the ones who kind of reproduce or recreate the music in a live sense.
So it is a collective effort that you three are sort of working together.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So when you do go and you're starting to make a new piece of music or a new record or working on something in the studio, what's your process to go about that?
Chris, I'll hand you over to Pete for that one because he's kind of, I guess, more involved in the initial creation of things. Here's Pete.
All right, perfect. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Doing well.
So how do the conception of the music is normally, I just make loops upon loops, and if one of those loops stands out to me, then I'll start pacing around. Normally, is the process. I'll leave the loop going and just pace in the studio until concepts for a song start forming, or ideas, bits of lyrics, ideas for other sounds, and then it kind of, then I take it to James and we kind of turn it from a loop into a traditional song structure, I suppose, and then it develops from there.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, you can definitely hear that in your music when it sounds very glitchy and like it's made up of a lot of samples, and maybe glitchy is not the right word, but you can hear the way that it's built. It's a really cool and unique sound. I mean, how did you kind of come to make music that way? Is that sort of something that you stumbled upon, or is it something that it just was easiest for you? And also, how did you get into making music in the first place? What kind of drove you to start this?
So we started making music like that, I think mainly out of a love for hip-hop, really. It was kind of one of my first loves, music-wise. So the first piece of gear I ever bought was a sampler, an old Acco sampler where you had 6 seconds of sample time. So chopping up loops and drums was one of the first things I ever started to do. And then kind of more traditional music, like I learned to play the trumpet and things like that. So I think in the end it was combining a love of traditional songs and songwriting and hip-hop production with chopping up samples and manipulating sounds, yeah.
So would you say that a lot of your influences come more from that hip-hop side and from that genre?
Yeah, I'd say a mixture of kind of a lot of hip-hop and then some more kind of Motown and soul stuff from my mum, like a lot of kind of Nina Simone and things like that. Really psychedelic English stuff from my dad, like Floyd. And then hip-hop on my own.
All right, so last question.
Cool.
Do you have a song right now that is really inspiring you, like a specific song? What's your favorite song at the moment? What are you listening to now?
My favourite song at the moment is difficult. Kendrick record from last year. That seems to not stop inspiring me. I love that record. So, in terms of individual songs, I'm not sure. Can I say a record instead?
The Kendrick, yeah, that's a good one. That's a lot of people that are doing it. All right, so we'll wrap this up then. So the future for you, what do you have going on? You've got an album coming out next month.
An EP coming out next month, for this one in the year, and just as much touring as we can possibly do, and festivals. And I'm desperate to kind of get back in the studio. I've got some new ideas.
All right, so we'll look forward to that. All right, until the ribbon breaks, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Enjoy your show at Dartmouth tonight.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you live tomorrow.
Cheers.
Thanks, and goodbye.
Okay, bye.